Okay, welcome back. This is week 2 of learning how to cartoon with me, Luke Halford. So this week, week 2, we were learning what makes up a face and learning expressions. And in the corner for whoever came to the lesson, I finished my drawing of Ancient Bobby, a little drawing of a frog that we did together at the end. But what makes up a face? So that was well, actually, before we get there, first we started the class by doing our routine squiggles. Can't start a lesson without doing at least one squiggle. So let's just do a quick squiggle. And what does this one look like? I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm going to do a mouth. Mouth of a monster. Something like that. Big teeth. Something like that. Big teeth. That doesn't look right, does it? Maybe these are its teeth. These are its teeth down here. I'm going to give it big old eyes. It's going to be looking at us kind of shocked. Put my eyebrows all the way through my writing. Whoops. Oh well. I'm going to give it nice small pupils to show that it's kind of shocked, scared. And maybe some bags under its eyes. Oh well, whatever. Start off every class with a bit of a squiggle. Every time you come to either the class online on Zoom or this video on my YouTube channel. I realized last week that I'm not going to be really editing these, so the times at which the time that I speak about each of these things will be written just down below in the description. So what makes up a face? So we first decided to, I asked everyone what makes up a face, and we talked about what made it up. So we've got our ears, we've got our mouth, got our eyes, nose, eyebrows, and our hair, and our head. And that's kind of what we use to make up a face when we're drawing one properly. But when we're talking about expression, all we need when we're drawing a face, we don't need our nose. That doesn't really do much for our expression. We don't need our ears. We don't need a head even. And we'll come back to the hair because in some cases we can use the hair. Now, to show expression and to show that it is a face, we always need eyes. We almost always need eyes when we're drawing faces. We can go without the nose and we can go without the ears, and it can still look like a face, but as soon as you remove the eyes, it can be very hard to show that it's a face without being too realistic. But the main things that we show expression through are our eyebrows and our mouth. And we talked a little bit about making unhappy face, happy face, a kind of not really making much of an expression face, a little bit of a unsure face, and that can all be done with the mouth. But if we make this mouth just showing as little emotion as we can, when we add eyebrows, we can show confusion, we can show kind of like surprise-ish, we can show anger, and we can kind of just be unsure. Yeah. But those are the main, we always need a mouth and we always kind of need eyebrows for showing emotion. They can be used without each other, so we can have eyes with eyebrows for showing emotion, and we can have eyes and a mouth for showing emotion, and we can add them together. But when you've got neither, it can be kind of hard to show emotion. You can definitely do it, and we can talk about using eyes for emotion in a second. But yeah. Yeah, so that's what makes up a face when we're doing expression. When we draw expressions, I'm going to skip faces for the second. To expression, we have like these different things, these different angles when we're drawing eyebrows in comparison to the eyes. Kind of got flat, curved, like a mountain in the middle of your head, or curved like mountains to the side of your head. And curved to a mountain in your head, on your head. That kind of shows sadness. Those are always sad eyebrows usually. And you can draw them different, and they can be surprised as well. Sad and surprised, and sometimes mostly sad surprised. Or we can have them as slanted inwards, so there's mountains on either side of your head, and they're usually angry eyes. And you can add different curves to them too, and then you've got different angry eyes usually. And just like last week, we talked about looking in the mirror and seeing what you see and recreating in your drawing. Do the same with your expressions. Expressions, they're all the same as what you have on your face, but when we're doing cartooning, there's always got to be a little bit of exaggeration, at least the way that we are going to learn it. So your eyebrows will never go this high, but we'll always draw them, and they'll never get that slanted. Well, at least on my face, at least, they won't get it that slanted. But that's kind of how we'll draw surprise. And maybe we'll make the mouth a lot bigger and a lot longer. And making it exaggerate is the best way to, at least I feel, is the best way to show expression and emotion in your cartoon characters. And when we're talking about our shocked face, we'll come back to our hair. So usually hair's fairly emotionless and it doesn't really do much. But when we get really scared or something spooks us or shocks us, sometimes in cartooning we can use our hair to show that. So when we've got this face, someone's hair might normally look a bit like this. So this is this person's hairstyle. They usually wear their hair like this. But when they get shocked, or they're really scared, their hair might just take in some of that shockedness. So they might get a bit shocked and their hair might get all spiky, just like when you're watching a movie and all the hair on your arms or on top of your head kind of feels like it spikes up, or it feels like it's one of the girls in class said it feels almost like someone's lifting your hair up. So when we're drawing, we kind of give our hair, when we're drawing a shocked face, we kind of give our hair kind of like the lightning effect. We make it very jagged and spiky, almost like we have been shocked by lightning, and that's how shocked we are. Yeah, so that's how we use our mouth and our eyebrows for emotion expression. Lots of exaggeration, and always use pictures of people and look in the mirror and make expressions at yourself and expressions while you're drawing. And just keep on practicing those different things. And that's what we kind of went through today. But then we learnt and taught everyone a little bit of a trick that just like with the hair, where we get shocked and it feels like our hair stands on end. What happens when you're out on a bright day? Sorry. So talking about our eyes and showing expression. Sorry, I can't talk at the moment. Our eyes. So we've got our eyes and we've got our little pupils in the middle of our eyes. And when we draw eyes, we kind of always draw our pupils a certain size. We don't really, sometimes we might not think about how big we draw our pupils, and we might not think they even change. But when you walk outside on a very bright day, or if you look at a very bright light, your eyes, your pupil within your eyes will get very small. And your eye does this so that it takes in less light, because it doesn't want you to blind yourself. And when you're in a very dark room, it'll do the opposite. It wants you to see as much as you can, so it tries to take in as much light as it can, so it gets really big. Like it's almost like a hole into your eye. And the bigger the hole, the more light can get in, and the smaller the hole, the less light can get in. But this also works when we're expressing emotion. When we get really scared or we don't like something, where our eye reacts like it doesn't want to see it. So when it doesn't want to see something, it closes that hole up as tight as it can and it gets it really small. So when we sort of draw someone really shocked or scared, we'll draw our pupils really small. And that kind of gives us the effect that they're really scared or shocked. And the opposite of that is true when we're happy to see someone, or we're in love, or we like something. Our pupils will get really big. And that's how we can show that in our drawings. And this is obviously exaggerated because we like our exaggeration in our expressions. And then when we exaggerate them, we can also add a lot of light shining in to the eyes, so lots of reflections to make them almost look cute. And we like cartoonists definitely use this to make stuff look cute, because when we see something that looks lovingly at us, it almost looks cute to us. And I use the example of Puss in Boots, and I think it's the second Shrek movie. And he makes his eyes look really big, and it makes everyone think he's really cute when he's actually a soldier or one of our heroes, and a thief, I'm pretty sure, if I remember those movies correctly. Yeah, that's kind of what we use for our expressions. And to finish off our class, we realize that we've got our expressions, but that doesn't mean anything when we don't know how to draw a face. So when we draw faces and when we use when we're doing our cartooning, sometimes you can feel like you just want a cartoon, but we can definitely learn from different parts of art. And when people do realistic art, definitely got to learn a little bit from people who do realistic art and their different techniques. So when you're drawing your faces in realistic art, I'm no professional at this because I do enjoy my cartooning more than I like drawing stuff exactly how it is. But when we're drawing our realistic art, we have a circle, and when that circle, we draw from the edges of that circle little lines downwards. I think this is correct. Go our little lines downwards from there until it's kind of at the bottom of our circle, maybe a little bit further, I don't know. And then we're going to make it slant downwards. And this might be different for different people and different faces, but this face for the moment. And then we'll take a line from the top of the head down to the bottom of our chin, and that's our chin there. We're then going to draw a line at the bottom of this circle, a line going down through the bottom of that circle, and then another line 2/3 through the circle. So a bit like that. I'm going to get rid of some of these lines through here. And then we're going to draw our eyes here. I think it's the top of the eye or the top of the eyebrows. I forget. And for cartooning, we're not going to worry too much about that. But let's say it's the eyebrows at the top of there. Then we're going to draw our nose here. Our nose will go here. Let's draw a big nose, big Waluigi nose. And then our mouth just goes below that. Big happy mouth. And then I'm going to draw something when you draw ears for realistic purposes. The top of your ears always lines up with the top of your eyes. And that's kind of how we draw a face, a head, a person, whatever you want to say that is. And then we draw a hair, and your hair will come across your head a little bit. Doesn't sit on top of your head, it kind of sits across where you've got this circle. Doesn't sit on top of the circle, it sits in and on the circle. I get if that makes sense. That's our person. We've just learned how to draw a person. And then for the rest of the class, we kind of just we ask questions, and we obviously draw Agent Bobby Frog, and we drew Bowser, and we just drew different emotions. And it's not something that you just learn how to do. It's something you need to kind of, along with everything, give it lots of practice and draw the things you see around you, and never stop practicing. Never stop looking at the world around you and different ways you could draw different stuff. Yeah, that was our class. hope you enjoyed this little video. And before I leave you for this week, I should probably quickly write down, just at this end of this video, you can click off if you don't really mind, but if you want to learn what we're going to be doing, what the next few videos are going to be, just stick around for a moment. I'm just going to quickly write them down. So next week, week 3, we are going to learn movement and action. I'm just going to write movement there. Week 4, we are going to learn about exaggerating our drawings and exaggerating different body parts and why we might do this. And what I like to call making it fun. Then in week 5, we are going to learn about shading and lighting. And in that, I got a question today. In week 5, talking about shading and lighting, it won't take that much time. So what shading and lighting entails will actually be learning about how to make stuff look 3D and perspective in our drawings. So I'll just write 3D underneath there. Week 6, our final kind of learning week, we'll be learning about colour and colouring our drawings and why the different colours we'll use with the way different colours pair up, and how we might use our colouring in our drawings. And then for the final 2 weeks of this class, week 7 and 8, week 7 plus 8, we will be creating our own characters. And during this week, on this channel, I'll just be drawing my own characters and explaining what I do and the different things that I go through to get a picture or a character. But in class, this will translate into everyone drawing their own characters, and whatever questions or whatever extra skills people want to learn, they can just ask away and we can learn whatever people want to learn and whatever they feel or you feel like you want to ask questions about and figure out before the course is over, because I can answer a few questions. Yeah, that's the end of this video, and hope everyone has a good week, and I guess I'll see you next week. Like the video if you want, I don't really mind. It's not really, it doesn't worry me too much. But yeah, give it a like if you want, and follow if you want to keep up with the videos that I release for the next 6 more weeks. Yeah, see you, have a nice week, and hopefully see you next week. Bye.